I seek Allah's protections from Satan's, the accursed ones, and the name of Allah Almighty, the entirely merciful and special merciful. This is me, Faisal Noman, students of BS Zoology. Today, our topic is evidences to evolutions. In this videos, we will be going to talk about the evidences of evolutions. Mean that in this video, we will be going to talk about the evidences in the favor of evolutions. So the first of all, if you people still not subscribe our channel, so the first of all, subscribe the channel and click the bell icon for more updates. Let's, dear students, comes to the topics. Our topic is evidences of evolutions or evidences to evolutions. So in this video, we will be going to talk about the three evidences in the favor of evolutions. There is a lot of evidences in the favor of evolutions, but in this video, we will be going to talk about only three evidences of evolutions. So the first evidences in this video we will be going to discuss it is the embryological evidences. Mean that the embryological evidences we will be going to discuss in this video. The second one we will be going to talk about the molecular evidences in the favor of evolutions, and the number last we will be going to talk about the paleontological evidences in the favor of evolution. So uh, these three evidences we will be going to discuss in this video. So the first of all, let's, dear students, comes to the embryological evidences. The first we will be going to talk about the embryological evidences. That what is these evidences that is in the favors of the evolutions. So the adult organisms may the different forms of each other's their embryological and greatly resemble, such as the first one evidences it is the similars in the embryo in the development of animals. All animals start their life cycles as a zygote to develop palms, morula, blastula, and crastula. Dear students, the gastrula shows the three layers: ectoderms, endoderm, and mesoderm, and these three germinal layers also develop to form the same types of part in all animals. So it is also it is the evidence. This is an evidence in the favor of evolutions because us animals have that same phenomena. And the second evidence it is the similarity in the vertebrates embryo. For example, a notochord replaced by the vertebral column in all vertebrates. So the embryo of fishes, amphibians, reptiles, as mammals resembles closely in early stages. In fact, it is a different distinguished them shows the presence of similar heads with rudiments of eyes, ears, and possess the branchial clefts and notochord and embryological tails, and the notochord it is replaced by the vertebral column in all vertebrates. So it means that in all animals have to convert this notochords to vertebral column, so mean that its ancestor is forms they involve from the same ancestors. And the second one, and the third one, evidences it is the temporary and non-functional embryonic structures. So the temporary embryonic structures, the embryo of the certain animals possess temporary and non-functional structures that disappear or reduce before birth. For example, the gills cleft are seen in the embryo of all land vertebrates. That is not present in adults, which is not present in adults but present in the embryonic stages. It is a temporary and non-functional structures. And also another example is the teeth spores present in the embryo of toothless swans and the balls. The embryo of the vertebrates have a notochord which replaced by vertebral column. So it is also evidences in the favor of evolutions. And the last one we will be going to talk about the recapitulate theory. So the first I'm going to tell to you people that what is a recapitulate theory. Recapitulate theory it says that the ontogeny recapitulate phylogeny. Ontogeny recapitulate phylogeny. So it means that the ontogeny repeat phylogeny. So the first of all you people need to know that what is ontogeny. The ontogeny it is the developmental history of an organism start from zygotes, and the phylogeny it is a brief evolutionary history of an organism. This recapitulate theory was proposed by the Cross Spears, and also it's renamed and revised by a genetics law by Ernest Haeckel. Ernest Haeckel. This states the ontogeny recapitulate phylogeny. The example of that theory is the tadpole stage in a development of frogs. The tadpoles shows the patches-like characteristics, tail spines, and lateral line. This suggested the frog evolved from a fishes. So it is a good evolution in a pair of evolution. Now we are going to the molecular evidences. So dear student, what is a molecular evidences? Almost all organisms use the same basis of biochemical molecules, including DNA, ATP, and many identical or nearly identical organisms and proteins. These are as the biochemical molecule. For example, the first one it is the amino acids. The amino acids, almost all living organisms utilize the same 20 amino acids in their protein synthesis. So it means that all these amino acids stems in all organisms, that 20 present in all organisms. That is also a good evidences in favor of evolutions. Number second, the DNA and RNA. The DNA or RNA are the mechanisms for the inheritance and genes activity in all organisms. The third one, it is genetics codes. The structure of genetics codes or the triplet codes is almost identical in all living things and organisms. And the cytochrome C and A. The cytochrome C and A are the respiratory proteins used in the electron transport systems of the all aerobic organisms, even taxonomically remote one from each other as a human and bacteria, but these cytochrome is used as a respiratory proteins in all organisms. So what we conclusions from that thing? The conclusions the conclusion of that things that this is uniformly in biochemical organizations underline the diversity of animals and plants to the evolutionary relationships. So this is a little about the molecular evidences in a pair of evolutions. Dear students, we will be not going to talk about the paleontological evidences. The paleontological evidences. So the first of all, you people need to know that what is paleontology. Paleontology, it is the studies of fossils. The study of fossil, it is known as paleontology. But what is a fossils? The fossil, it is the remains of organism in a past which may preserved in rock or etc. in some things for at least 1,000 years ago. That is known as fossils. The fossils present in the rock and resource layers, and they provide a strong evidences and a solid evidences to the evolutions, such as serapes, elephants, dragons, and mosaic shells. Creatures evolved over the period of times. The fossils of Archaeopteryx was discovered in the East Germany. An example, we take the Archaeopteryx lithographica. This is the ancient part which is found which fossils found in Germany. So the example it is the Archaeopteryx. The Archaeopteryx it's mean ancient sphinx, very early and prehistoric datings about 155 million years ago. During the Jurassic period, when the many dinosaurs lived, the fossils was discovered by the Altrese fingers. It is the one of the oldest known spores. The crow-sized animal may have spines able to fly, but not very far and not very fast. Although it has the feathers and could fly, it has the similarity to the dinosaur, including the teeth, skulls, legs of horns, bells, and certain spine structures. So we are going to talk about as avian and reptilian characteristics. So the first we will be going to talk about the reptilian characteristics, and the second we will be going to talk about the avian characteristics. So the reptilian characteristics, the first it is the teeth in its jaws. In their jaws there is a tooth presence. The second one it is the fingers having claw. That is a reptilian characteristic in Archaeopteryx. And the third one it is the long tail with the precaudal vertebrae. And the fourth one it is the scales and stromal without knees.